Russia's most advanced stealth fighter, carries NATO's designation Felon, and it draws heavily from the proven Su-27 flanker lineage. Large internal weapons bays keep its radar signature low, and the aircraft holds enough fuel to likely outrange the American F-22 Raptor. Critics point to the small number built and limited evidence of real combat use, questioning whether the aircraft lives up to its official billing. Before the F-35 Lightning II existed, two rival prototypes competed fiercely for the most valuable fighter contract in history. Boeing's entry, the X-32, was striking for all the wrong reasons. Its wide, gaping intake gave an appearance that few found flattering. Its approach to vertical landing used two vectored nozzles rather than the four found on the Harrier, and the design struggled with thrust-to-weight ratios at low speed. Lockheed's X-35 ultimately won, but the X-32 remains a fascinating glimpse at the road not taken. China's answer to the fifth-generation fighter challenge is longer and sleeker than its Western counterparts, a shape that trades some frontal stealth for a much larger internal volume. That volume matters. It allows for a longer weapons bay and a substantial fuel load, giving the J-20 the kind of reach needed across the vast distances of the Indo-Pacific. Analysts believe the aircraft is designed not just to fight other fighters, but to threaten and support aircraft that modern air forces depend on: tankers, radar planes, and early warning systems. The word stealth entered everyday language largely because of this aircraft. The F-117 looked unlike anything that had ever flown, a collection of flat angular panels arranged to deflect radar energy away in unpredictable directions rather than back to the source. It was not fast, not agile, and not technically a fighter despite the designation. What it was invisible, and it proved that point over Baghdad in 1991 in a way the world could not ignore. Flown in secret from Area 51 in 1996 and not shown to the public until 2002, this experimental aircraft looked less like a real plane and more like something imagined for a science fiction film, which is, in fact, where its name came from. Its swept-go wings sat at the rear. It carried no tail surfaces, and the engine intake was tucked away where radar could not easily find it. The bird of prey was never meant for production. It was a technology testbed, exploring how far stealth shaping could go. Two companies raced to replace the F-15 Eagle, and the one that lost may have produced a more remarkable machine. The YF-23 was mantis-shaped, with a distinctive V-tail and a silhouette that looked like nothing else in the sky. By some assessments, it was stealthier than the aircraft that beat it, and faster too. Northrop brought deep expertise in low observable design from the B-2 program, and McDonnell Douglas contributed the lineage of the world's best air superiority fighter. Yet the YF-22 was chosen, and the two YF-23 prototypes quietly became museum pieces. No single aircraft program has ever attempted to do quite what the F-35 set out to do. One basic design had to serve the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marine Corps, meaning it had to be stealthy, carrier-capable, and able to take off and land vertically all at once. The vertical landing F-35B broke new ground by being the first operational supersonic aircraft with that capability. The program was long, expensive, and troubled, but the aircraft that emerged is now flown by more than a dozen countries and forms the backbone of Western tactical air power. Everything that came before the F-22 forced a trade-off. Stealth meant accepting slow speed and poor maneuverability. The Raptor refused that compromise. It combined a radar cross-section close to that of steel marble with the ability to cruise at supersonic speeds without using its afterburner, a capability called supercruise. Vectored thrust lets it point its nose in directions that defy normal aerodynamics. Since entering service in 2005, no other fighter has seriously challenged its position at the top. The flying wing is one of aviation's oldest and most elegant concepts. If the whole aircraft is a wing, nothing is wasted. Northrop had been pursuing this idea since before World War II, and the B-2 finally gave the company the chance to build it at full scale and in secret. The result was a bomber that could carry nuclear weapons across any distance and arrive almost undetected. Its smooth, curved surfaces were the opposite of the F-117's sharp angles, but both approaches pointed toward the same goal, an aircraft that radar struggles to find. When the B-21 flew for the first time in November 2023, it had been 34 years since a new American bomber had taken to the air. Looking at it parked beside AB2, the family resemblance is unmistakable. The same flying wing, the same smooth blended shape, but the differences matter. The B-2 was built to survive at low altitude as a fallback if stealth ever failed, and reinforcing the airframe for that kind of flight added weight and compromised the very shape that made it stealthy. The B-21 carries no such burden. It was designed from the beginning to rely entirely on stealth, and that confidence in the technology shows in every line of the aircraft.